to see. And today we're talking about how to make the impossible possible. Okay, obviously, in a sense like that pretends to all your lives. And obviously, what I mean by that is that there are things that you feel like are impossible, and usually this is kind of like the division between highlighting what is possible versus what is impossible. Good to see Zoom users. I don't know who you are, but if you want to say hi, welcome. This obviously is an invite to all people coming in, not only inside a program but also not in the program. But why is it important for you to actually be here? Even if it was a replay, and again, there is definitely a replay for people inside the program, but even if you you see a replay, I say this comment like the first time around when I did this talk, and it's always about when you watch things live, there is all another impact. You have to imagine yourself being in a room with us, like being in me giving a seminar, and I done speeches in real life, and it's like when you feel like the power of people being really in the moment, and it's a huge difference between really listening. Actually, please mute yourself, y'all. Like whenever you come in, just mute yourself. And of course, you're welcome to be here, but we need to mute yourself, okay? There is a difference between you being here right now and you really hearing, right? There was when I took my degree back in Miami, and it was like an exercise physiology degree. There was Professor Amasai, which is he was like from Israel, and I love the guy because it's very entertaining, but he was like a soldier. He was like basically saying one thing that we also have a bunch of people eating on the room, playing with their phone, eating. It's like, you're not allowed to eat here. And I said, why? Why is that? It's like, because when you eat, you don't really hear. If you try to eat and then like you'll see that whenever people talk to you, you won't really hear. And I make this comment the first time around when I did this talk. If you're watching a replay and I see people here, some of course, and again, like don't feel like I'm not like pointing stuff out. Like I see people here that like walking around, some people sometimes playing with the phone, whatever. And if that's happened when you're live, imagine when you see a replay. And I know, and I do appreciate some people have to multitask because it's like they have important stuff to do. And I love the fact that you're here rather than being on a replay. And I do love the fact that in the last roundtable we have, I saw a lot of comments, but the people that got most of those kind of calls that we have is people that when they're live, they're actually like really watching and then go comment. Like I saw some, I saw Edith, I saw Doris, she's here. I saw Claudia, she's here. I saw a lot of people watching the call, and then they put the whole big post. Very vulnerable. And I know that thing for a lot of people eat them really hard on the heart, because then there is a lot of people commenting your posts. And I know that's for some people is very something to be vulnerable about. But that's the life change that you're looking for when we're talking about making something possible that you feel like is impossible. Okay, so this is going to be a call. And I'm going to ask you to do some work, probably talking in the chat initially, because then, for time consumption, is more so like if there is time, we're going to talk at the end. But it's not at least like you're going to have a chance to go back, watch this again, and do some work. I'm going to require some participation. So number one is like, today I'm going to give you like a framework to make things possible when you feel like it's impossible. Not to go outside and just snap a finger and make the color of the sky changing, right? I mean, technically you could do that. You just see when it's changing and you're like, boom, I just did that, right? But more so, whatever you feel like is impossible, whoever like you want to become, like you feel like losing 20 kilo, having the abs is impossible. I'm here to tell you that it's not. It's very possible. But you need to want it. You need to want it much more than you want the hair on your lungs. To that level, you need to really want it. Okay, and I see a few examples here. I see Cecilian example. I see a Claudian example. I see Doris and another example. I see people like all, and I want anybody else to feel like Marcela definitely is also an example. Please mute yourself. Okay, perfect. Sorry for that. What I'm saying is like you see a huge difference between people actually really taking any possibility they have and doing the work. That's usually whoever. And for instance, if there is some time left, maybe then we can open up some of the microphone and you can actually ask these questions like, what is your undeniable desire that you have to become that way? Because I would like to ask, for example, Cecilia that question. I'd like to have Dori that question. It's like people that you clearly see that like they're willing to go to the extra mile. I like to ask Claudia this question. It's like everybody are like that are willing to go to the extra mile. There is an undeniable desire in there. And it's very important to make it different because this is going to distinguish whoever make things happen and not, or those that goes to the extra mile. It's come down to really wanting something that the identity you're building for yourself, the procrastinator, the emotional eater, the perfectionist, to wanting that in a level of making something not that you feel like is impossible, but something that you feel is impossible for you. Is that there is a funny thing. This is the first thing I'm going to ask you to do. Everybody that talks to me on the phone, they always say, oh, it's very clear what you do because like you work with people over 40. Like, and there is this notion that this idea that when you're 40, when your hormone changes and stuff, it becomes harder to lose weight. I wanted to comment in the chat really quickly. Like I wanted to make really quick. It's like, why do you feel like your body can change when you're 40 years old? Why do you feel, what happens? I know some of you are gonna write probably metabolism, genetics, hormones, like just write in the chat. Like I'm gonna open the chat, okay? I'm gonna say here, you can write real quick. Why do you feel like stops you from achieving results in your 40? You can write it. That's interesting for me because I'm gonna show you now something. Just, if you wanna write it, good. I'm gonna give it about 1 minute and then we'll keep going. But if you have an idea, and it's no right or wrong answer, but like you probably say to yourself, you know, that's a good one, Lamis. Let's move in activity, right? Because everybody say that. That's a good. That's also very cool. But it comes down to usually hormones, right? It comes down to losing muscle mass. It comes down to your metabolism slowing down, right? What if I told you that this is only responsible for 3%? What if I told you that 97%, it comes down to your beliefs, it comes down to the piss poor habits that some people watching might still have. It comes down to the fact that because it's you feel it's impossible, right? Then you are not doing the work to make it possible, right? And of course, maybe a little bit more than 3%, but 1% is proven that people in the world, which is the 1% of population, has real metabolic problems, not thyroid issue, not some insulin resistant, really something metabolically that is not going to allow you to lose weight. 1% of the population. Of course, a lot of people still, but 1%. 97% or maybe 90% want to pretend that whatever they don't do is a problem. Whatever they don't do, they want to say, okay, let's try an excuse. That's gonna be much easier, right? Very important. And the idea is that you can live life as a spectator, or you can live life as a protagonist. Okay, I did show this past weekend. I show a Denzel Washington, one of my favorite actors, a video. I said one of the things that I heard was, and I always get emotional when I watch that because for me it touches me to the heart to so many aspects. And it says, "Don't aspire to make a living, aspire to make a difference." Many people don't live that way. Many people just go on through life. And one thing that obviously he didn't say in that video, one thing is another video, is that a lot of people always remember the thing that is very hard to do, like for instance, Edison's invention of the light bulb, right? The energy, right? Everybody remember Edison's for the experiment he did, but he remembers him for the 1,001 experiment he did. Nobody sees the 1,000 that he failed. You know, when you see Tiger Woods, which never, there was always a joke, it's like there is not a golf cart Tiger Woods didn't love. It's like he didn't got that good just by doing it once. It's like you do it over and over and over and over again. This is kind of like the point, right? And then when you think about your identity you build, when you say, I want to kind of get healthy in my 40, I'm gonna try this one time, and then like you try this. If it works for 2 weeks, that's great. Otherwise, you go back to a default. A default means like you go back to your reality. You go back to whatever you feel like. Obviously, it's easy, right? Whatever is easy. Okay, and the problem is that one thing also was talked about in that video was apparently is a guy that really very much towards religion and God and his faith and belief, and like Sometimes I pray. I really don't have a particular opinion on whether or not we were put here by God, or whether or not there is a God, whether or not, my past got me to really understand that there is few people you can count on, and obviously you're not sure if some sort of higher power is one of those. But sometimes I pray just in case, like just to be good, and say, like, if I had to go somewhere, that's a one thing. But it's like one thing that I strongly believe, however the fuck we got here to be all we can be, not average, not something, and then like we're happy with that. We're here to be the maximum, the very best that we can every single day. And the funny part is that, and somebody can raise the hand if they don't think that way, I'm gonna assume that most people don't live to be the higher power, like meaning like they don't live at the best potential they have, and they know that. And it's like the fact of like, if it takes any sacrifice whatsoever, I'm not doing it. Or I'm doing it only if I get results. Or I'm doing it only if I see something coming back. And of course, that takes us to motivation. It takes us to the fact that I need to get the motivation to get that happen, right? This idea that, I'm gonna do this thing in my life. This is not only in health, it's also in your job, in your family. It's like, I have this plan, but then I have plan B. Something that I can kind of like do instead. Plan B. There is always this plan B. Understand that, like, and this is, of course, this was a message from one of my favorites, Arnold Schwarzenegger, not only obviously a good bodybuilder, a good actor, a good, like, governor. He said, if you're really thinking about plan B, you don't really put the efforts that you have to do in plan A. And that's actually very true. Like, you don't get to do plan B if you don't put all your energy in plan A, right? And the part is that this is kind of like, I can summarize a few things before we go into the real hands-on part. Few things. It's like, why things are impossible in your opinion, right? Is because you're looking for all the time extrinsic motivation or motivators to actually make you feel like something is possible. So it's like, I have motivation. If I don't see weight going down, I'm gonna stop. So it's like, you're not really intrinsically motivated on a change. Second thing that you're not is like, you don't build the why big enough, meaning like your undeniable desire, I said before, for some people, and it doesn't have to be something great, but it has to be something that for them is meaningful, right? And if that's not impossible, like if you don't have such a why, like why should I just even change? I'm not really gonna be hungry for a change. I'm not gonna care. Like when you say I want more energy, I always say, why do you want more energy? Just to have more energy. I mean, that's not gonna get anywhere. The person that wants more energy because right now they talk to their child or to their niece and they cannot really, get to where they need to get. And like, and every time like he or she asks you to play, you don't play because you're tired and makes you feel like crap. That energy is important. Like for that person, the energy is the motivator she needs. So it's very, very, very much important. Why is it so hard to change? Why is it so difficult for most people? Because you're kind of like led to believe then life is a journey. Life is just whatever is thrown to you. It's like, okay, I'm gonna live, I'm gonna learn and whatever, right? Life isn't that. Life should be a process, should be a modeling of something successful or someone successful. Meaning like, it's not about like when you see the big players, like whoever watch soccer, like right now Ronaldo, Messi, right? Like at the time it was Pele, back in the, when I was a little bit young. When you see those guys have an undeniable desire to change, have not only an undeniable desire, but discipline. And they do this as a work. I see sometimes, I hear Ronaldo's like, Cristiano Ronaldo interviews, it's like you can see that it's work for him. It's not just, he loves what he's doing. Obviously for me, I love what I'm doing. I work 12 hours a day, but yet I feel like it's not working at all because like I love it. Like you need to be passionate about what your change, right? But again, it's like, it's important because, I mean, it really has to come down to that discipline. Be willing to do the work, right? And see yourself. And right now, why isn't a journey? Is because when you model something, you model somebody that is already where you need to be, and you do everything to be the same. You model a person that's successful, that she lost weight, and you model the same thing, same habits, same attitude, right? Right now, many people modeling going out, many people going on diets, many people modeling reading, scrolling through Facebook and watching cats videos. I mean, that's what you model, right? And you cannot, like, when you're in an environment, you're like, however you grown up, you're modeling either like your close relative, your close parents, or like, you know, you growing up, you model people you're around. And if those people are not the right people, you're going to model something wrong. And then it's like you feel like life is happening to you, while in reality it's not. You can have a control of what happens to you. Okay. And now, like, if you're ready, I want to give you my opinion, what it's needed for you to actually be able to really get there. Of course, it's a little bit of a framework, but if you do that, chances are you'll be able to make what is impossible possible, what is impossible for you possible. And obviously, as I did that, and again, this time, like, I have not much to, this is not what I'm supposed to show. Why isn't it showing that? Just give me a second. I don't know why I need to kind of like put, okay, maybe now it's gonna happen. Okay, share. I want to see my piece of art here, and now I see it. Perfect. So as we go back and move this stuff around, and we can make this thing smaller, I'm sure, somehow. This is basically what we're looking at, okay? You're going to need a plan, a very important plan. You're going to need the commitment for that plan, and you're going to need this consistency of that plan so that you can build a different identity of that, okay? And of course, that's very important, because when you do that, and again, you might have to watch this again, you understand that when you have a plan, you have really no way for you to find an excuse about time again. Like you live in building blocks. I learned how to live in building blocks, hours or half an hours. Like you want to be scheduling your walks. You want to be scheduling your time that you want to learn. You want to be scheduling the time that you cook. You want to be scheduling the time you talk with a significant other, to that level. Like if you want to go somewhere, like, and again, you might not agree, but that's what it's taken. Like if you do that, you're not going to have an excuse that you don't have time. You have to put space within yourself, meaning like if you wake up 30 minutes before, you have to put like an imaginary bubble so that all your problems doesn't take you by storm, right? And I'm still guilty of that. Like, I'm not saying like I'm not doing, like, I'm doing my best to do it, but I'm still like, it still happens to me. And imagine that. Like, so I mean, if you've never done it before, there's a higher chance that it's going to happen to you as well. The other thing, when we're talking about the plan, the commitment, there's a few laws here that you can go back. Like, you can also research online. There is this guy, I think it's called C. Maxwell or something like that. The 15 laws of kind of like success. There is a few laws that I like, and it's like, you know, this, you know, the law of habits, right? Or law of intentionality, right? Do something despite results. The law of mirroring. Do something that, like, whenever you see somebody on the mirror that you want, your eyes is trained to see the change. And as a result, you're going to be able to really feel like it's possible. Your eyes need to see the change that you're getting. That makes your motivation stay very high, right? And then, of course, when we're talking about the consistency part, the habits, right, is important, because is, in your opinion, and you can type in the chat, many people do it this way. It's like, I want to like learn, I want to kind of like, I want to do exercise for 6 days. I just started, I'm going to do 6 days. I'm going to work out, and then so I can just lose weight quickly. Usually those are the ones that get some results in a week and then they stop. Why? Because it's like, you don't understand that it's better to really do something for 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day and do it better and get progressive overload and progressive habits than just doing something super quick for 1 week and stop. And that's like the law of consistency. Okay, that's very important. But as we move forward, and again, like just watching here a few things that I wanted to not to forget, there is the most important part. And again, like we kind of touched it before, but it's really how to, you as a person are able to watch this thing and you say, okay, let's say I have a plan. Let's say I have learned how to live in building blocks. Let's say I have this plan covered, right? Let's say I got my commitment. For me, I know what I need to do now, right? Let's say I have my consistency. How do I get myself as a person to go over here, right? To become that person that take action all the time. How do I become different as a person? This is actually really important. Decision-making that yield actions. And there are 5 things that I identified for my people that I can work with, or I work with, and after coaching thousands of people, there is one thing that you need to operate by, which is your current self, the person you feel like you are. We're always very in tuned from the person we are to the person you have to become, your future self. And in between, and this is in sequential order, is habits, the fact that you need to get out of the house sometimes and just walk or take fresh air, vitamin D, all that. The willpower, psychoentropy, in other words, is like the fact that sometimes your battery is down and the way that you are kind of like, what happens between those decisions when you're down, and whether or not you're going to eat stuff that you're not supposed to eat, whether or not you're going to still feel like you're successful and you don't give up on the plan, whether or not you feel like you don't need motivation and you just do the work. And of course, that's one thing, psychoentropy, which is your willpower, but it's more so like, how can I, what can I do when my decisions are bad? What can I do when I have, when I don't feel like doing stuff? What am I going to do? The operating system, internal operating system, which is, like I said before, your default, meaning like, what do you do when you default back to something, to old habits? Why some people, and this is a huge component, unfortunately, people watching even the replay on the past, you lose 10 kilo, you feel all excited, and as soon as you get back to, you feel like you're failing. That's your operating system, ladies. That's like you feeling like you're still not changing as a person. And the last one, of course, the future self. How do you visualize yourself in the future, and how do you play being successful today? With being bold, building dreams, seeing yourself as successful, your affirmations, your like really playing yourself, you're already successful, and all these things, components, of course, we would need a talk just for that individually. But what I can do, like what I can say is, like, if you are in my program, we're doing that already, even you realize or you don't, like we're actually doing this. If you're not in my program, get yourself in the program. Like if you actually care about succeeding, and this is a huge invite. It's like, there is going to be a point that you're not going to be able to work with me directly. Like you're going to work with my team. There's going to be a point that whatever you felt like it wasn't accessible right now is going to be 5x more. So it's not going to be accessible. So like if you have a chance to do it now, and if you really want to do it, do it. If you feel like you're doing good, don't do it. Like it's always like that. But to a sense of, if you're watching this, and I really want to call out the resourceful people, like I see a bunch over here, do the work and say, like, comment inside the group, and this is actually important, what are you getting out of that and from this call? And it's like, how are you defining yourself as a person? Who are you? Like, are you the procrastinator? Are you the person that feel like it's impossible? Are you like, you can comment that. What do you feel like your habits are right now? Rate your habits. Am I actually doing the things I'm supposed to do? What are the operating system I'm going by? Like, do I go back to a default, like most people, or do I actually learn how to be successful? When I don't know what to do I ask 1,000 questions, or I just find a solution? When I know that I getting better, do I still feel like I'm failing, or should I just keep going? Right? It's important. Your willpower, your psychoentropy. Well, how do I know that my kids take a lot of energy? You know, my moms take a lot of energy. I know my relatives take a lot of energy. My significant other take all the energy from me. How do I put a shield and I put barriers and I say, hey, this is my time. Even if I love you as a kid, as a significant other, like, how do you behave so that you can get your energy better, right? And who do you see yourself as in the future? This is the most important one. Why I wanted to do this talk today? Like, for me, it's very important because I think that I see a lot of videos for a lot of people, and one of the things that comes out more and often is like, sometime I heard, like, somebody like, that gives speeches to the, people when they funerals, right? They give speeches, and it's like, they always say, when people know that they're sick, they know they're gonna die. They always say, what do you want me to say when, for your funeral? And they say the one thing that is a common source is like, they don't care about the birthday they miss of the daughter or whatever. but they care about not having regrets. People care about not having regrets and taking more risk. And this is important because if you see it this way, like somebody, and I wrote it down here, like somebody that is 80 years old, and you know what state you get when you're 80 years old. Usually you're not a very healthy state. It's 29,222 days. That means that each day you say yourself, I'm a loser, I'm not good enough, I'm not worth. This is a bad day because I feel that, because somebody told me something about that. This, I wish I was already tomorrow. You're basically wasting one day. There is one day less that you might, and this is if you go to 80 years old. More of us, most people don't get there, or they don't get there, remember who they are either. With this being said, I hope this is a big kick in the butt for some of you. Like, don't ever feel like something is impossible, like it's likely possible. It's just impossible for you. And usually there is like a framework. And again, I'm more than happy to unpack this framework as we move on. In April, there is going to be something very cool inside this group. I'm probably going to open up once, maybe every 2 weeks, a Q&A on Fridays for people that are in the program or people not in the program, that if you're going through your own journey, you can come inside this Q&A and ask questions, and ask real detailed question to anything. Of course, it's a huge invite to people who are in the program. It's a bigger, more invite for people who are not, because I'm taking away the last single excuse you have to not succeed. Because if you can do it on your own, if you really believe you can, and I'm giving you frameworks, I'm giving you trainings, I'm giving you emails, and I'm giving you everything, and you actually don't do it, and you have Q&As, me as coaches, like people going back, and I'm gonna have an assistant coach, and I'm gonna probably have her doing that as well, then you are likely not succeeding on your own. And it's nothing bad with it, but you need to be acknowledging that and understand that, like, life might pass you by before you say to yourself all the time, oh, I'm gonna do something later, or I think I can do it alone. Very, very important. We have at least 10 minutes with this until this clock goes off. If you want to mute yourself, if you want to say anything, please do raise your hand, or like we have an excellent show up right today. Like, funnily enough, I thought that this wasn't going to be interesting for a lot of people. We probably have one of the highest show rate. This is actually pretty good. If you're watching a replay, great. Again, like, just do the comments, meaning like comment. And again, going off from this is like, watch the last 5 minutes of this. There is going to be a replay. Then you want to be commenting that whole structure. Who are you? What is your operating system? What is your willpower like? Who are you becoming next? And like, as you see that, like, other people commenting, there is going to be a lot of comments from other people as well, making them maybe showing up less time. Because again, like, I know that I see from the faces when they're here, the people. It's like, some of you don't have the camera, which is great, but it's like, I see from the faces, it's like, some of you are having breakthroughs from these things. And like, you wouldn't if you watch, like, if you don't watch this, or if you watch a replay. So we have like 10 minutes left. I would like for some of you to ask, if you want any question you have about this in particular, if you want anything at all, or if you want to add anything, like, you're welcome to unmute yourself and kind of like talk. And again, like, everybody's welcome to do that. So if you want, you can unmute yourself, and you can also say something about it or ask something about it. We have 10 minutes. So if you want to do it, it's time. Don't feel shy. Come on. Most of you know me already. But I'm glad to say that a lot of people new here. Some of you not even like new for a few hours. So that get my heart pretty happy.
Anybody? Yeah, mine. I am muted.
Go ahead.
A bit to fill up the silence, but also to say that your videos have made a difference, and this one, but also one of the first ones I saw that was talking also a bit about the willpower and making the effort, and that's when I decided to just go for it, to follow all your instructions as much as I can, because I thought, well, this guy apparently knows what he's talking about. Let's just do it and see what happens. And yeah, I'm seeing it happen. So I really want to thank you for that. But also thank myself for giving it this chance, because it does a lot of good for my confidence, for my health, of course. But I'm really feeling very good since I started here, and
I think we can all
so
see it.
and the talk that you did today also, it really fits what I'm going through. I'm working those steps to this new person, and
But I wanted to ask you, like, if you want
yeah,
to answer, what is your desire? Because like I see, like you are this, I'm when I'm describing that, I'm probably describing out of many people, one is you. You go to the extra mile. Why? Why is that? Like, why is the changing? I know it's an identity part. And one time you told me on the phone, but I don't know if something changed, but I know it was something like, it's more so like, how will you see yourself, right? And the potential you can, like, I think that's going to help tremendously a lot of people in here. Like, why do you go to the extra mile?
Because I am very stubborn. If I want something and I really want it, then I do it, and there's no stopping me.
But like, I think one time, again, I don't remember, but I know some the nature of what the discussion was. You said something like, you see yourself as, like, your potential is much better than who you see yourself as. At one time.
To change.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm really starting to believe what you said before in another video, the sky is the limit. And Cecilia is a very good example for me also of what's possible. My goal and what I want is to feel, when I started, the thing was I wanted to dance in shorts this summer without feeling shy. But that changed to just wanting to be a different kind of person. The beginning it was about my legs, and now it's about who I want to be. And how I look is just a part of it.
That's good that you got this breakthrough, but there's nothing wrong with that. Believe me. Like, I want my abs too. There's nothing wrong with it. It's like, it's more so like what those legs mean to you is like, probably looking, like you told me something about looking younger, feeling, very attractive, whatever, like most people say you are, but like whatever that means to you, it's an identity you're building, right?
Yeah.
And like, that's going to be a huge difference. Like when you go to the beach and, young guys check you out or something like that, it's like, it's going to make, like, that difference, right? It's like, it's an identity you're building. And like, nobody's saying like that means that you have to be like a good person or bad person. It's more so like whatever it means to you. And again, it could be very futile, like, okay, I just want to lose 5 kilos. That's very, or it could mean that that's 5 kilos for me. I'm going to mean like I'm a strong woman. I'm like, or like, those one that, they do kickboxing or whatever. It's not like for that, it's because probably they want protection for themselves. And it's a very vulnerable place to be, but it's like, that's an identity you're building. If you're watching this replay, and like, Dori, thank you so much for sharing this. This means a word to me. And like, thank you for the testimonial also the other day that you sent. This, like, you have to take, if you're taking anything from this call, like, it's not going to be the tactic that gets you there. It's going to be whatever desire you have if you're watching this replay. Whoever you're becoming as a person, like, like the person that you're like, seeing yourself versus the person you're going to be in the future, that's going to be what's not going to make you quit. Your child that asks you to play and you have energy, that's going to be the one thing. You see yourself wearing a bikini, that's going to be meant in the past that you were bullied, that's going to be your desire. That is the difference maker between somebody making it and somebody that don't make it. You were bullied on the past, cool, like, use that as your favorite. Like, you got like you all the time, like, were the person that you make fun of, or like, you're big or whatever, like, cool, show them that it's not the case. But don't stop yourself after 2 weeks and then going back to a default, because that's like, that doesn't mean changing identity. And we have like 3 minutes left. If somebody wants to say something quickly in a minute, if not, I'm gonna like get you to go with that. And I really appreciate the fact that you're here. I really want to say hi to some new people. Gabica, right? I think that's your name. The other person I don't know, but like Nina, I see, like Annika, I see a bunch of people new, which is great because like, if you show up, like I'll keep doing this stuff for everybody. It's not like I want to keep this only for people in the program, but show up because like this is what makes the difference. And probably you got that from me already. And I keep hearing that all the time. I'm not going to be the coach that say, okay, I'm not going to show you that something that will works, but I want you to work. Like otherwise you're making me feel, first of all, like whatever I'm doing is not good. But you're also making me feel like you're kind of like give more certainty to do something more when you actually do the work, when you comment, when you post, when you're inside the group, whether you're here, any sort of format. Thank you all, especially Dori, you spoke, but thank you all for coming here and to interacting with me today. Be the best you that you can, because I strongly believe that however we got here, and I know some people are gonna get all different opinions, and it's like, okay, evolution, creation, whatever we got here, religion, whatever, you're here to use your days and never say it's a bad day, because you can always learn a lesson from a day, you can always improve a day. And if you feel like, remember, like 29,000 days, you get about 80, right? I want to live until 100. I want you to live until 100, but like I want you to get into a position that you can be striving from that, not only living. Okay. In the word of the Denzel Washington, aspire to make a difference today. Just do the work. Just go out there, pick somebody up that you feel like needs help. I know Cecilia is doing it. Like everybody is actually here doing it. Like Make is doing it. Claudia is doing it. Everybody, Lamis, Catherine, Selma is doing, like everybody's doing it. Marcela, of course. Just help other people. Like remember, for me, some of you are clients, some of you are maybe future clients, some of you are just friends. What I'm keeping you accountable to be is a inspiration and a motivation from other people. Ultimately, this is I'm keeping you accountable to do that. That means that you have a mission. You don't just have a mission for yourself, but for other people. If I want to make an impact inside the world, I need you guys to level yourself up and make it, and show other people, because obviously we cannot duplicate myself. Thank you so much for being here. I'm gonna go eat something, and I obviously hope you also, if you already did, otherwise you can do the same. Thank you all. I wish you an amazing night. I'll see you soon. If you need anything from me, DM me, comment below, and thank you so much tonight to be here. Take care. Bye-bye.